Dwayne Johnson wasn't born into wealth or privilege. Growing up in a small, modest home with his mother, Ada, and father, Rocky, life was far from glamorous. His father, a professional wrestler, often struggled to make ends meet, and the family lived paycheck to paycheck. Despite their financial struggles, Ada worked tirelessly to create a loving home. She would cook meals from whatever was available, turning even the simplest ingredients into something comforting. Dwayne cherished those moments, but deep down he knew their life was fragile. At school, he faced bullying for his worn out clothes, but his mother's unwavering strength became his anchor. She would tell him, "We might not have much, but we have each other, and that's enough." Those words stayed with Dwayne, even when the world around them seemed to crumble. One fateful afternoon, 14-year-old Dwayne came home to find his mother sitting at the kitchen table, tears streaming down her face. In her trembling hands was an eviction notice. The landlord had given them 2 weeks to vacate the house if they couldn't pay the overdue rent. The air felt heavy, filled with a silence Dwayne couldn't ignore. He cautiously sat beside Ada, his heart pounding as he read the notice. The words blurred in front of his eyes, but their meaning was crystal clear. They were losing their home. Ada, always the strong one, tried to put on a brave face. "We'll figure it out, baby," she whispered, her voice cracking. But Dwayne could see through her facade. The weight of their reality was etched in every line on her face. That evening, as they shared a simple dinner of rice and beans, Dwayne noticed his mother's quiet resolve. She spoke little, but her actions said it all. She began making calls, trying to borrow money, selling small items around the house, anything to scrape together the rent. But deep down, Dwayne knew it wouldn't be enough. Watching his mother's unwavering determination lit a fire inside him. That night, as he lay in bed staring at the cracked ceiling, he made a silent promise. "I'll make sure we're never in this position again." The next morning, Dwayne approached his father with an idea. He had always been drawn to sports, and though he wasn't the most polished athlete, he had raw strength and determination. "Dad," he said, "if I can make it in football, maybe I can help us." Rocky was skeptical but saw the fire in his son's eyes. He agreed to train him, pushing Dwayne harder than he'd ever pushed himself. After school, Dwayne would spend hours in the park, running drills and lifting weights with whatever they could afford. The training was grueling, but every drop of sweat felt like a step closer to saving his family. Months later, during a local high school game, Dwayne found himself on the field, his heart pounding with both fear and determination. The opposing team was tough, but Dwayne had spent every waking hour training for this moment. His father's voice echoed in his mind. "Don't just play, own the field." In the stands, a college scout sat quietly, scribbling notes. He had come to watch another player, but Dwayne's raw power and unrelenting drive quickly caught his attention. With every tackle, every sprint, Dwayne played as if his family's future depended on it. Because to him, it did. As the game reached its climax, Dwayne executed a near-impossible play, weaving through defenders with sheer force and scoring the winning touchdown. The crowd erupted, but for Dwayne, it wasn't just about victory. It was about proving to himself that he could rise above his circumstances. After the game, the scout approached him, extending a firm handshake. "You've got something special, kid," he said. "We'd like to offer you a scholarship to play for our college." Dwayne was speechless. This was more than a ticket to play football. It was a lifeline. He ran home that night, clutching the letter of intent, his face glowing with hope. When he told his mother the news, she broke into tears, holding him tightly. "You've given us a second chance," she whispered. For the first time in months, the house felt lighter, filled with the promise of better days ahead. With the scholarship, Dwayne enrolled in college and threw himself into football. The sport became not just a passion, but a lifeline. Every time he stepped onto the field, he thought of his mother sitting in the stands, cheering him on with pride. When his first stipend check arrived, Dwayne didn't hesitate. He handed it to his mother, watching as relief washed over her face. For the first time in years, they could pay the rent on time. That moment was a turning point, not just financially, but emotionally. Dwayne realized that his determination could truly make a difference. Years later, as Dwayne signed his first professional football contract, he couldn't help but think back to that eviction notice. Though his football career was short-lived, the paycheck gave him something he dreamed of for years: a way to provide for his mother. Dwayne didn't waste any time. With his first substantial earnings, he bought his mother a modest but beautiful home. He wanted her to have a place where she could finally feel secure, a home that would be hers, no strings attached. The day he handed Ada the keys was unforgettable. Dwayne had kept it a secret, wanting the moment to be a complete surprise. When he guided her to the house, Ada hesitated, confused. "What are we doing here, Dwayne?" she asked, clutching her purse nervously. With a smile, Dwayne extended the keys to her. "It's yours, Mom. No more landlords, no more notices. This is your home." Ada stood frozen for a moment, her eyes welling up with tears. She clutched the keys, her hands trembling. "Are you serious?" she whispered, her voice barely audible. When Dwayne nodded, she broke down, sobbing into his chest. "You've given me more than a house," she said through tears. "You've given me peace." As Ada walked through the house, touching the walls and looking out the windows, her face radiated a joy Dwayne hadn't seen in years. That moment for him was worth every ounce of effort, every sleepless night, and every setback he had faced along the way. Hollywood wasn't easy, but Dwayne approached it with the same grit and determination he had shown on the football field. From his early days in wrestling as The Rock to becoming one of the highest-paid actors in the world, he never forgot where he came from. In interviews, he often spoke about his past, sharing stories of eviction notices and financial struggles. Fans admired his transparency and humility, and his journey became a source of inspiration for millions. Today, Dwayne Johnson is not just a global superstar, but a man known for his kindness and generosity. With a career spanning blockbuster movies and entrepreneurial ventures, he's built a life far removed from the struggles of his youth. But those early hardships shaped him, and he's made it his mission to give back to others walking a similar path. One story that captured the world's attention was Dwayne's surprise visit to a single mother facing eviction. The woman, inspired by his story, shared her own struggles online. Dwayne, moved by her resilience, arrived at her doorstep with a team of supporters. He paid her overdue rent, covered the next year's payments, and provided her children with school supplies. The moment she hugged him, tears streaming down her face, Dwayne felt a deep connection to her struggle. "I've been where you are," he told her, "and I know you'll make it through." His kindness extends to small, unpublicized moments, too. Fans often recount stories of Dwayne picking up restaurant tabs for families or surprising strangers with gifts. These seemingly small acts reflect his understanding of how one gesture can change someone's day or even their life. Dwayne Johnson's journey reminds us that even the toughest circumstances can't break a determined spirit. His story is a testament to resilience, family, and the power of giving back. What part of Dwayne's story inspires you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more uplifting Hollywood tales.